man now. I mean, welcome to Out Past the Reins, volume 133. Let's put that sock back on that injured foot. Okay. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the Blind Girl's first full length that came out in November 13th of 2018, I believe. This is Residue. What to say about this record? There's a lot to say about this record. There's a lot to say about this entire thing leading up to this record. So why don't we go back to 2015? Well, the band started in 2013. They released an EP. Then in 2014 they released another EP. In 2015 they sent me the 2014 EP to review on my blog, Open Mind Saturated Brain, which I did. I heard a lot of resemblance to like Bon Iver and just kind of Raven and stuff like that. Very like heavy, fast screamo. Early Loma too, for sure. A lot of feedback as well. And yeah, like I thought the first release was pretty decent. Solus was the first release, I think, and then Efflorescence was the second release. Very, very strong release. So I got into the band because they sent me that email, essentially, and I'm glad they did. So I followed the band's existence, and they released a couple more things. What did they do? They did He Who Swallowed the Bloom EP in 2015, and then they had a split with Sans Visage in 2017, which was pretty big too, because I love Sans Visage. So that led me to releasing a Sans Visage thing as well. Liam recorded and mixed, I believe, and maybe even mastered all of the old Blind Girl stuff. Well, maybe not all of it, but as far as I know, all of the old Blind Girl stuff, as well as a fair amount of the Sans Visage stuff, because Australia, Japan, kind of close, I guess. So, and they're friends, and he's very good at what he does. I'd been following the band, and in 2017 I moved to New Zealand for a brief tenure in Dunedin, and while I was there, I messed up the ankle. And when I finished up in New Zealand and I went to Australia to stay with my aunt and uncle and everyone over there, some family, I was still in contact with the band, and Liam basically said, why don't you come over and hang out with us for the day on the Gold Coast? And I was like, oh, sweet. So in 2017, in December, I went down to see them. Maybe it was super early January. I don't remember. So I met, who did I meet? I met Ben and Mark and Liam at that point. I think it was only those three that I met at that time. Maybe I met Julian too that night. I can't remember. Anyway, they kind of informed me, oh, we have a new vocalist. Sharni is now in the band too. Before it was mostly, I think, Liam doing the vocals and maybe some Mark in there as well. So I hadn't heard any of these things, and I didn't meet her that night. But lo and behold, in I guess it would have been mid-2018, they sent me the finished record, asked, obviously, if I wanted to participate, and I was like, oh my lord, this is absolutely fantastic. Your new vocalist is perfect for this. Everything just really feels completely fleshed out, and band's peak at that point, for sure. So I was told they were going to do, oh my god, what was it? 150, I think, copies on black, and I was kind of, maybe we should do a few more copies. I still not really selling a ton, but I knew that this record was exceptional, and I figured that they are going to sell out as well, especially if I took 50 copies, I think, of the first round, so they had 100, and I think both parties sold out in a matter of 2 months or something like that. I think we ended up getting, oh wait, we ended up doing a second press with Left Hand label too, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So the first press does not have any text on the cover, something to note, and on the back, obviously the only label is ZBR over in the corner there. This one came on black and actually has a different color for the center label as well. That's indicating that it is the first press. Second press, 300 to, what's the short variant? 200 smoke. So it's kind of smoky. You gotta kind of see it up against the light. And 100, the rare variant was the red. These ones sat around for a bit longer. Yes, the story here is they were going to go on tour to Europe in 2020 to like fully support this, and then COVID happened and they didn't, and then they lost momentum, and then Liam left the band. So like my initial contact was gone. I was like, oh no, I don't know what was going to happen to the band now. They ended up getting Luke from Salt Money and Schlong, and he ended up he ended up becoming the other guitarist in the band besides Julian. I've kind of got ahead of myself here a little bit. So this album, let's go back to this for a second. This album has a very abrasive feel and is even more in your face than their previous releases. So I would definitely, and at the time of the release too, there was this kind of thing happening. A lot of it kind of, I feel like, started or was brewing in Canada and then kind of flew out. So you had Maria and Frail Hands, who had kind of just like Frail Hands was kind of just starting, and Maria was just finishing. And then you had Lord Snow in the U.S., and then you also had Nuva Lascura in the U.S. And all of these bands were kind of like doing a lot of stuff in 2018 kind of deal, and it was this was the perfect thing to kind of like put in there, and they continued on. They've definitely like forged their own path away from those bands, because I don't even really consider them. I mean, sure, they're similar and stuff, but just Blind Girls is its own beast now. We also did 65 tapes just on ZBR, and for some reason I kept one of every variant, even though the tape itself is all the same. They're just red. So I will definitely put I'll put up the regular paper one. No, that's still Sparkle. No, whatever. I'll put up the Sparkle one, and I still have a red Sparkle one in the store for some reason. So the LPs, the second press at this point, is now sold out as well. And again, left-hand label helped with that. Actually took care of it in the UK too, because again, band thought they were going to be going over there. Is there much more to... Oh, yeah, there's definitely... when Residue... Oh, first of all, 3 a.m. and The Ghost in My Eye are just... really show the band, at their full potential. And it was kind of replicated, not in, like, a clone kind of way, but they were able to do that kind of stuff again on the next album, The Weight of Everything. But that's a 2022 release that we have to talk about later. 4-year gap. COVID, member switch, all that stuff just took a lot of time, as well as the pressing of the record, which, took 7 months, and was kind of fast if you consider how long some other places take. 3 a.m. also had a premiere, and the premiere was on the Open Mind Saturated Brain podcast when Vanessa from Crowning came on, and Andy was there too. I don't think Vanessa knew who they were at that time, but I remember Andy was like, oh, I love Blind Girls. So, that's a very positive memory for me, getting to share that with them with the podcast back in whatever that was, 2018 October, I think. What else happened? Oh, this is a very vivid memory for me. This is the start of ZBR U.S.A. because I was doing I had done a couple kind of like very amateur trailers for the Jerome's Dream tribute comp that I had released. So I was like, I'll do one for 3 a.m. or some song off of this. I don't even remember. So I made something, and I sent it to the band, and I kind of just assumed it would be fine, and they were just kind of like, nah, it's not gonna work for us. Like, so I asked Dave, I'm like, dude, I don't know if you know anything. Like, I'm trying to do this like video. And that was when he let the cat out of the bag. He's like, oh, I'm a video editor as my full-time job, so let me take a crack at it. And he did. He had to take 3 cracks at it, but he got it. And I don't even remember. It's an ocean or something. It's a little... very short clip of the song, and then I think there may have been like one other premiere, and then the full release. Very well received. Very, very well. I think it is interesting to note that this opened the door for the Australian connection that I kind of seem to have inherited from releasing Blind Girls. So I get sent a lot of stuff from Australia, and Australia's scene, especially in the last 2 years, is really popping off with a ton of amazing bands. The aforementioned bands that I already talked about, Gil Cerrone is phenomenal, and there's the new Keratin EP that's coming out December 5th on Tomb Tree. I don't know. Oh, there's the Hanoi Traffic. There's too many things over there that they're all fantastic. And I really feel like a lot of it started with Blind Girls. I know there was Australian bands before Blind Girls, but I don't think any have had the tenure or the reach that this particular band has had. And I'm super honored to be involved with them both in the past and up to now with The Weight of Everything. Wouldn't be surprised if someone signed them before their next release comes out, but you know, we'll see. I love those individuals. I saw them on tour recently, so why don't we close with 3 a.m. live, because that's always good. I think this one happened in Kitchener-Waterloo? Cambridge? Kitchener-Waterloo? Kitchener-Waterloo? Kitchener-Waterloo. I think it was Kitchener-Waterloo. And before we do that, though, I think it is good to go back to New Zealand for the origin story of my ankle. And won't you come back to the trampoline park with me? What is it like to jump on one of these things? Well, let's find out. Whoa! I might have broke my ankle. I think I broke my ankle. I think I broke my ankle. I think I broke my ankle. Oh, by the way, next out past the Reigns is People's Temple Project Sleeper Waves, but 12-inch